Hey, what's up, nerds? It's Shane with Guys of Magic. Today I'm joined by Hunter. Say what's up, dude.
What's up?
Today, Hunter, you're going to be walking us through your $300 upgrade for Riders of Rohan. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. We're doing Riders of Rohan. If you guys haven't seen it, go and check the $100 upgrade that I did previously for a little bit of a more budget friendly. Check the description down below for that link.
Well, it was a good 100, and it was budget friendly, but now we're going to give you some more money, and I want you to make this deck hum a little better. Well, as a little reminder for everyone at home, would you like to walk through your commander and tell us what you're trying to do here with this deck?
Yeah, so our deck, Riders of Rohan, is helmed by Eowyn Shieldmaiden. It is 2, a blue, a red, and a white for a 5/4 legendary creature human knight. It has first strike, and it says at the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control this turn, create 2/2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. Then, if you control 6 or more humans, draw a card. So, these triggers happen at the beginning of combat, meaning we got to get humans in first before combat for this to trigger, and it's going to be incredible. We're just a human tribal deck. We're going wide. We're doing a lot of damage. So many things happening.
Humans going wide is going to be mean, buddy. Your 100 was great, but I'm excited to jump into your 300. Don't keep me waiting, buddy. Show me your 300 additions.
Yeah, so first and foremost, like I said, this is a sequel to the $100 upgrade. So every single card you see on the screen right now, we are keeping in the deck. Minus one card from the 100, but we'll get to that when we go over our removals from the deck. And I know you see on the screen as well, Elspeth's Son's Nemesis is on there. That's because I forgot to mention it in the $100 upgrade. I apologize. It is part of the 100 and it's in the 300. Elspeth's Son's Nemesis, the real main thing we want to do is create 2/1/1 white human soldier creature tokens to trigger our commander. So Elspeth's Son's Nemesis is a great card. It's staying in the deck, and we're going to go on from here.
The 100 list was really awesome, Hunter. I loved it, but I'm very excited to see what you're doing with this 300. So with your bigger budget, let's jump into some of your cooler upgrades.
Yeah, so these are brand new humans that are going into the deck. They do cost a little bit more, so that's kind of why I didn't fit them in the 100, but the bigger budget, so they fit perfectly here. First one, Esper's Sentinel. It is 1 white mana for a 1/1 artifact creature human soldier. It says whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper's Sentinel's power. This is an amazing one drop for anyone running white in EDH. It's always going to be played. It's always going to gain value. A lot of the times, people are not going to pay that X, and you're going to be drawing a card.
Yeah, these stack pieces are so annoying, man.
Fantastic one drop. Fantastic because it's a human that triggers a commander. It's all around great. Another human that's going into the deck is Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. It's 3 and a blue for a 3/1 legendary creature human rogue. It says you may have Sakashima of 1,000 Faces enter the battlefield. It's a copy of another creature you control, except it has Sakashima of 1,000 Faces' other abilities. It says the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. It's got partner, but that does not matter at all. So because the legend rule doesn't apply, Sakashima could come in, trigger our commander because it's a human coming in, and guess what? It can copy our commander, making 2 of our commanders, making double the amount of triggers, double the amount of tokens. We're going wide.
What's better than one, dude?
2
Two!
of 1,000 Faces. And this last one might feel a little bit of blasphemy, but I'm adding Mr. Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead into a Lord of the Rings deck. That's where we're at with Magic the Gathering in 2023. Rick Steadfast Leader. It is 2 white for a 3/4 legendary creature human soldier. It says as Rick enters the battlefield, choose 2 abilities from among First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. Humans you control have each of those chosen abilities. As long as you control 4 or more humans, humans you control get +2/+2. This is one of the best humans they've ever printed. And it's unfortunate that you can only find it in the secret layer of The Walking Dead. Hopefully, they kind of said they were going to make the Magic the Gathering version of these cards, but recently they kind of said there was no plans, so it's still up in the air if they're actually going to do it. I hope they do so we can get a reprint of this. But as of right now, Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead is needed in this deck because not only are we giving all of our humans either First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink, it's also just an Anthem effect. This is essentially a Lord If you can get 4 or more humans, it counts itself. So it's amazing.
It's amazing, but I hate it.
Admittedly, I do have a Rick Steadfast Leader EDH deck with him at the helm, and it's very good.
Yeah, see, that's okay. I think at the helmet's one thing, but it seems so funny that we're like, play with Lord of the Rings cards and we're throwing in Rick. It's like, oh god. Another couple years and Magic's gonna look very weird.
Yeah, but again, we're a human tribal deck. You gotta play the best cards.
You
This is
do.
one of
I
the best
understand.
ones.
Yeah, he's a very strong human. Well, those are some new big baddies in the human department. Are you adding any instants, dude?
Yeah, so I'm only throwing in one here. Uh, we didn't have too many board wipes in the deck, but since we are blue, we are 3 colors. Jeskai, blue being one of the colors. I wanted to throw in some blue cards that are very good. And this is Cyclonic Rift. It's 1 out of blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Or you can pay the overload for 6 in a blue, meaning you bounce everything that doesn't belong to you to their owner's hands. Pretty awesome.
Yep. If you're playing blue, you're probably gonna run this as a removal spell.
Yeah, it's Cyclonic Rift is a staple in EDH. Again, this is a no-brainer for me.
What are we doing in the enchantments department?
Yeah, so I said it in the $100 video. I'll say it again. I am a big fan of enchantments, and that's what we're doing. I said we were blue, so we're throwing in Rhystic Study. 2 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1. If you don't pay the 1, opponents, I'm getting card draw. This is the best card draw spell in all of EDH. I said it, I meant it. No debate here.
I won't argue. I love this card too.
Yeah, so that's just one of the abilities that we can do since we are a human deck with blue. It's kind of a more rare thing to happen. But Rhystic Study is getting into the deck. We want card draw. The more card draw, the more you're going to win the game. Anointed Procession is 3 and a white for an enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. Our commander makes 2/2/2 human knight creatures with trample and haste. Noted procession on the field, we get 4 of them. It's going to trigger our commander's second ability very quick by drawing us more cards. Like I said, card draw wins games. This is going to go nuts. We're going to go so wide, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I knew that this was going in your 300.
And this other enchantment, I felt like we got to talk about this separately. This is Breath of Fury. 2 red, enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. If you do, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there's an initial combat phase. Guess what?
You're
This just
going
goes
infinite.
exactly.
God.
This goes infinite. It gives us limited combat steps. Granted, our opponents can't block because if our stuff does die, then obviously we can't go infinite. If they kill Breath of Fury, we can't go infinite. But because our commander is triggering, if we have a human enter, we attach this to something else, go to a combat step, hit a player that say can't block. Because we made 2/2/2s, we're going to untap. We're going to go to combat. Guess what? Those 2/2/2s, they entered the battlefield before combat. So it's going to trigger our commander again. And it just keeps kind of going over and over and over. Our commander's going to keep making 2/2s. It's going to go super wide. And eventually, we might be wide enough to where we can just kill everybody at the board, or at least one person.
Infinite combos, dude. Don't like them.
Yeah, Breath of Fury. This is so good with our 2/2 hasters. It's crazy. And they have trample, so if we have any anthem effects or any pump spells that are happening on top, they're going to trample over everything.
All right, I'll give you the one. I'll give you the one infinite combo, just the one.
Just the one.
Are we changing anything in the land department for this upgrade?
Yeah, so looking back at the set itself, that is Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle Earth, I kind of forgot a land. And I wanted to add this from the 100, and like I said, I just forgot. So we're adding it into this deck. I didn't want to change the mana base too much in the deck because that does require a bit more money, and that's fine. You guys can go out and change all of the tap lands into non-tap lands, but I just wanted to make the deck better. So this is the Forgotten Land. I forgot Minas Tirith. It is a legendary land that says it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. You can tap it to add a white, and it has another ability. We can pay 1 and a white, tap it, draw a card. Activate only if you attack with 2 or more creatures this turn. Well, guess what? I've already talked about it over and over and over. Our deck's going wide and attacking a lot, so we're going to be able to draw cards quite often. And a theme that I've already said again is card draw wins games. So the more cards we draw, the more likely they are to win. And this land lets us do that.
It's weird. It's almost like this card goes exactly with your commander, making the 2/2 hasters.
Yep, we're we're,
Crazy.
we're doing cool stuff.
Is that your 300 edition?
Those are all of the additions I'm adding to make this deck even better for my 300.
Well, I am not looking forward to playing against you because you're probably going to beat me. But hey, I liked it, man. But let's go on to the next part, the part everyone hates. What else we getting to cut? Make room for all those additions.
Once again, everything you see on screen here, I am keeping from the $100 cuts. All these cards still just didn't do enough for me. I'm not going back and adding them. They are staying out of the deck. But we are getting some new cuts out. And like I said, we are removing one card from the additions of the 100, and that was Mass Appeal. Mass Appeal is 2 and a blue for a sorcery that says draw a card for each human you control. It was awesome for our 100 deck. We have so many humans. It's still an awesome card. However, it is a one-time effect. And the cards that I did throw in, such as Minas Tirith, the land that draws cards, we added Rhystic Study that draws cards, we added Esper's Sentinel that draws cards, we have permanents that draw cards instead of just a one-time effect. So, Mass Appeal, that's the one that's coming out.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, bud. So besides that, what else are we cutting?
Yep, we're getting rid of some of the creatures that I felt just had to go to make room for our new big baddies. First and foremost, Harsh Mentor. It is 1 and a red for a 2/2 creature human cleric. It says whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it isn't a mana ability, Harsh Mentor deals 2 damage to that player. It's just kind of a little annoying card. Doesn't do too much. Doesn't really help the team. Eventually, I just felt like this just didn't do enough for the way we want this deck to go. Village Bell Ringer is 2 and a white for a 1/4 creature human scout. It has flash, and it says whenever Village Bell Ringer enters the battlefield, untap all creatures you control. This is a fantastic effect, don't get me wrong, but we are more playing on the offensive side of things where we want to attack our opponents very quickly. And if I'm leaving up 3 mana to flash this in on someone else's turn, I'm not doing anything with that 3 mana on my turn, and I really want to do that.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, man? Keep up like flashes in, untap your 2/2s, and jump block? Nah,
Yep, we're trying to do the damage, not block the
do that
damage.
exactly.
We're going down swinging. Similarly, Selfless Squire is leaving. It's 3 and a white for a 1/1 creature human soldier. It's got flash, and it says when it enters the battlefield, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. And whenever damage that would be dealt to you is prevented, put that many +1/+1 counters on Selfless Squire. Very similarly to Village Bell Ringer, we are preventing the damage. It's a defensive card. We are not trying to be defensive here. We're not trying to leave up 4 mana after we pass the turn. That just doesn't sound like something I want to do. Again, swing, swing, swing. We are going in for the kill.
Love to hear it.
And finally, I'm getting rid of Fiend Hunter. It is 1 and 2 white for a 1/3 creature, human cleric. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile another target creature. And when it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Just one of those effects where we just temporarily tuck something. It just kind of goes away for just a little bit until Fiend Hunter dies or gets bounced or gets exiled, and they get their stuff back. So Fiend Hunter just not doing enough for me in the human side department of our $300 upgrade. I want more bang, and this was not it.
Yeah, these tug effects are kind of meh in EDH, in my opinion.
It's tough because if a board wipe happens, then Fiend Hunter dies and they get their thing back. So
Yeah, yeah, not good. So those are the creatures. Are we cutting any non-creatures?
we are cutting non-creatures. The first is a new card, Crown of Gondor. It is 3 generic mana for a legendary artifact equipment. It says equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. And whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, if there is no monarch, you become the monarch. Equip cost of 4. This ability costs 3 less to activate if you're the Monarch. It's cool if you're running a Monarch deck, and we care a lot about equipment. But overall, I wanted all the other cool cards we threw in here, and this equipment was just a little slow in my opinion. If someone else is the Monarch, because there was other cards in the deck that give Monarch, so if someone was to steal the Monarch, this activation is going to be 4. And even when a legendary creature enters the battlefield, it only happens if there's no Monarch that you become the Monarch, which kind of sucks. So, Crown of Gondor is leaving the deck.
Yeah, maybe with the other commander that makes more sense, but you cut a lot of Monarch cards, so I can see this being a very easy cut.
hmm And Marshall's Anthem is coming out. This is 2 and 2 white for an enchantment. Has a multi-kicker of 1 and a white. It says creatures you control get +1/+1, and also when it enters the battlefield, return up to X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the number of times Marshall's Anthem was kicked. This is a fun card, but it is mana intensive. If you want one creature to come back, you have to pay 6 mana, and it's only doing a pump effect +1/+1. We have other pump effects. We have Rick Grimes given +2/+2 alone, and we just didn't see the need for this anymore. Recursion is cool, but not for that much mana.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I saw we added that one land, so are you doing anything in the lands?
We sure are. I'm just getting rid of the one land that it took place of. So the Minas Tirith taps for a white. We're getting rid of 1 plains. So quick, easy, quick swap. Just
Perfect.
a white for a white.
That makes sense to me, man. So is that all the cuts and additions? Is that the upgrade, bud?
That is my entire upgrade for the deck.
I like it. Tell me right now, what was your ending budget? We gave you 300. What'd you get to?
So, for the price of the deck, of all the additions from the 100 and everything from the 300, your new total, if you go out to buy every single one of the cards I mentioned, is $296.75 at the time of recording this video. But at the time of recording this video, the set itself still hasn't actually been released, so these are still considered pre-order prices, which means the price could come down. So, pick it up.
Right on, man. I'm sure they will settle. Man, once people start opening the product in masses, those prices will come down and it'll be cheaper for everyone.
I can also see the foil prices of a lot of the cards from this set coming down because so many of the collector edition boxes are coming out. Are going to be opened up trying to find the one of one ring,
The super chase, yeah, hell,
the super chase. So,
that's good for the market of people buying singles.
yeah, go out, get a foil.
Right on, man. Well, do you have any closing thoughts with this deck?
I do. I did mention it in the 100, and I'll mention it again here in the 300. I am very excited for this deck. I think Eowyn Shieldmaiden is a fantastic human tribal deck. Uh, like I said, I did make a Rick Grimes human deck. This one is just added in colors, which is fantastic. Uh, I think this deck's going to be powerful. I have it pre-ordered already, so I will be picking this deck up to play personally. And I really look forward to playing the $300 Precon battle against all of you guys. That's you, Shane, and David, and Steven, and seeing how they fare up against your guys' Precon upgrades.
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be a really good battle. I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
me too, man.
Well, if anyone has any comments, please leave them down below for Hunter. Maybe he missed a card. Maybe he did a great job, though. We love hearing feedback, right, Hunter? He wants to
That's
learn. We're
correct.
getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this deck.
Check out the description. We'll put the Mox build to this deck. You can play test it there. You can go and pick up the singles for yourself. It'll be in the description down below. Also in the description, you'll find all of our social media. That is Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's all going to be @GuysThatMagic. So give us a follow on all of those as well. Like the video if you liked what Hunter did with this deck. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because you don't want to miss any of these upgrades, and also you don't want to miss the gameplay coming out soon. So hit that hit the bell too, Just a little ding-a-ling. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Peace.